Hey everybody, today on Bittner Built we're going to be making some of this cool silhouette wall art for my kids' room. Let's get to it. Very first thing we need to do is come up with our silhouette design. So one of my sons is on the US national team for martial arts, and so he wanted a guy doing a kung fu pose, so here we go. Now you could freehand draw this, you could do this on the computer, there's lots of different ways, and lots of different mediums too. You could do PVC or I'm using underlayment. It's a really thin wood that's really cheap because I'm painting this and it's art, so it doesn't need to be structural or anything. So like a whole sheet of this is 10 bucks. So it's a great thing to use, and it's easy to cut in the laser engraver or CNC machine. So with that, there's a lot of different ways you could cut this out once you draw it. Now, I'm lucky enough that I have a laser engraver and a CNC machine, so I went laser engraver because that was the fastest option, and it cut out my guy in 2 minutes. So if he will come out of the wood, there we go. So he came out of the wood, pretty easy. I also did a master sword, a video game controller, and a Mando helmet. You know, all things my boys are interested in, so kind of express what they like through this stuff. Now, if you don't have the CNC or the laser engraver, you don't have to go spend out crazy money. A scroll saw is an awesome option. This one's from Harbor Freight. I've had it for a long time, and it works great. You don't need to blow a ton of money on this type of thing. And this is the perfect tool to be able to do this, because not only can you do intricate cutting with it, but you can slide it in after you make a hole and then cut around this circle and slide it in and cut around this. So you can get this exact cutout done well. You can also use a jigsaw. Jigsaws work fine too. Just make sure that you're using a fine blade and not a rough blade on here. You know, bandsaw is an option. There's a whole bunch of different ways you could do this. You could use a router with a template and a guide. But you don't need to go and spend, you know, a ton of money on this expensive stuff. Many ways to make this. Now that I have these cut out, I need to make a backer for them to make a space for the LED lights. Next, on the back of each of the silhouettes, we're going to attach a whole bunch of scrap pieces of wood. This is a great use for a whole bunch of little thin pieces of cutoffs that you have. I'm going to be using 3/4 inch plywood pieces because the strip light that I have is 1/2 inch, and I'd like to give it just a little bit more room than if I used 1/2 inch diameter wood behind here. What this is going to do is this is going to space this off of the wall, and it's going to give a surface for me to place the LED lights. So on the back here, I'm going to place it so that I can travel around the perimeter and the inside of this unit with the strip lights. So I'm using some really skinny pieces over here. I really want to stay away from the edges as much as possible. And I'm going to use something like this. So this is the design that I'm going to use. It's very jumbled, but that's okay. You're not going to see it. It's behind the unit. What I'm going to do after, for my last step, but it's important to understand it now. I'm going to start my LED strip light at the bottom so that my power cable goes off the bottom. I'm going to be going around the entire exterior perimeter on my scrap wood. And then once I get to here, I'm going to round the corner and I'm going to go inside, and I'm going to round the bend all the way over to here. That way I'm projecting light going out and I'm projecting light going in so that the inside of this helmet will glow. Once I'm ready to cut it, I'm going to find this section on the strip. So if I kind of hold this out, every foot or so you have a cut mark. So right here, when I end up doing it for the final version, I will cut this. The reason why it was important to understand that now is so that I have enough pieces and kind of organized in a way so that it'll be able to jump from piece to piece, and it'll have enough surface to hold it in place to round these corners and come back around. If I didn't have these two pieces here, if I jumped from here to here, you'd probably see it in the eye slot of this helmet. So that's why I have this piece here to bend it around the outside and pull it in on the inside. I'm going to just glue these and leave it in place for an hour until it's dry enough. None of this is structural, so after an hour I'll be able to handle it. But before I do that, I need to take this scrap piece that I have at the top and I need to affix to it a picture frame hanger. That way I will be able to put this right here and easily hang this on the wall. But to do that, I need to create some recess underneath this. So let's go over to the drill press real quick. It'll be a very simple process. Now, to recess the hole for this, I have this set up on my CNC machine, so I could just pop this in there and it's gonna perfectly route it out, and so it'll be recessed and look beautiful. But that's really because I have that machinery and it would be for something for sale. Most people watching this video, you're probably just doing this for your own personal reasons. So if that's the case, all you really need to do is route out a pocket for this shape right here. Let's call it a gourd shape. And to do that, I'm going to use a Forstner bit. You could use a spiral drill bit as well. And basically you're going to do one plunge right here and another plunge right up above. So our goal is to make a hole that is around this big, and staying away from this hole and this hole where our screws are going to go, and preferably also stay within the confines of this unit so that when we screw it in, you don't see holes coming off of the side. That's it. I'm going to attach this later after we paint, so in the meantime, let's go ahead and just glue all of our pieces onto the back. We're going to spray the back. I'm using a matte black finish. Flip to the front and do 2 coats, making sure to get all of the sides and inner cutouts. Now that the paint's all dried, I put it face down on a piece of cardboard just in case my assembly table here was messy. And we're going to screw in the hardware. Now it's time to put on our LED strip lights. And for this, I'm using a product from Govee, Govee. They're not a sponsor or anything. I do like this product though, it's pretty cheap. And the big thing that I like about it is that I can network multiple Govee light strips in the same room together to make them all work like a scene. So first I'm going to do the outside circle, and then I'm going to do the inside circle. So I'm just taking the tape off, sticking it to the sides of my spacers. So on this lighting application on your phone, my kids can talk to their digital assistant in the room and say, turn on video game mode, and the lights will do one thing. And then they could talk to it again and say, turn on movie mode, and the lights would maybe like dim and be soft, for example. I like that functionality that we can put a lot of different light strips and all have them do some stuff together instead of them just being, individual stupid lights. So now we're on the inside. I need to round the corner without the lights being seen from inside that mask divider. Overall, pretty easy stuff. Just make sure that you're making sure that the lights are not seen in any way. Let's bring it this way. All right, so we're reaching the end of my run. And like I had said, here is a piece where we can cut. So I'm gonna, I believe I have scissors in my apron, I should. I do, all right. So right along that line where you see those copper connections, I'm gonna cut. And the rest is now garbage, unless you would like to learn how to solder it back together again. Some people do. I do not. All right, let's flip it over and test it. All right, so there we are. It's all lit up. If you're looking at it from the front, it looks like that. But the big thing is it's going to light all the way around the wall. And there's all sorts of different modes that we'll be able to do where maybe it's a noise activated thing. Or we can just cycle through different colors and stuff depending on what they want it to be. So they might have that one go red. But I'm going to go ahead and do this to all the other ones, and we'll mount them and see how it all comes out. All right, so the silhouettes are all installed. I think they look pretty good. One thing to take into consideration is we have a very dark wall here, so there's a high contrast with those white power cables hanging down. So two things that you could do with that. I'm probably going to take the blue paint color and go ahead and paint those cables next just to make them blend in a little bit. Another thing you could do was something that I wanted to do, but my children vetoed. They did not want this look in their room. And I was thinking about doing some pallet wood right there. So kind of attach these to a pallet wood piece that then would be screwed to the wall. And then that would give me opportunity to drill through that, run the wires through it, and hide them behind that pallet wood. But again, it's their room, so, respecting their wishes. But from a YouTube perspective, I wanted to do it the other way. It would have been cleaner. But painting the cables will be enough for in here. This is really easy for a kid's room, a teen's room, and it gives a little bit of their personality that they can share out there. I like using the Govee lights that I chose. They did not sponsor this video. I do have an affiliate link though below if you're interested in them, and I get a little commission from it. The reason why I like them was they were the cheapest networked ones that I could find, that I could then voice activate and network them together. So basically, if you're using more than one light fixture, inside the app, I can assign them all one phrase to do something. So on the digital assistant speaker that the boys have in the room, they can walk in the room and just say, "Hey assistant, turn on game time," and it's going to animate this crazy way that wants to give me epilepsy. Or they could walk in and say, "Hey assistant, turn on movie time," and all of this will turn on in soft flowing type of colors as to not distract them when they're watching a movie. So lots of cool stuff that they can play with, and so those animated lights are really cool. There's a lot of other companies other than Govee's too. So, if you're thinking about doing a multiple type of thing, try and pick one company's product that then it makes it easier for you to network it all together. I hope you'll like and subscribe if you got some good content. This was a nice, easy, fun project. And as always, stay safe in the shop. I'll see you in the next one.